Alright, get ready everyone, because this is a big one. This video is, of course, about the torso armor and shoulders, so might be a little longer, who knows, I might just get around to the torso, but I'll see what we can do. So, I played around with this design for a long time. Initially, I just sketched it out on some graph paper. I took stills from season 1, sketched my own design flat, and then transferred it over to EVA foam. Actually, it's actually really convenient that this line runs down the middle of it, because what I did was I only made half of the design. That way I could flip it over and I knew it would be directly mirrored. So even if there was one imperfection on some side, it would be the same on the other, and it would look a little more cohesive overall. There wouldn't be one, like this one jut out a little more than this one, or maybe I'd miss a small thing. So by mirroring it, again, I can ensure that it stayed the same on both sides. And I also did the same for the back. Now the back, yeah, that actually held together pretty well. It's supposed to be flat. I hope you can see the front. It's a little more. It's got a little more of a curve to it. It's a lot better when it's being worn because it actually stretches to my chest and kind of bends down a little bit more like that, and just it kind of sucks itself to my torso. So yeah, it gets a little bit better of a curve. And the side pieces. These were interesting because this technically isn't screen accurate. The plates actually go underneath the breastplate. They don't jut up against it. They actually kind of go up underneath and latch on there. But I was a little rushed to get this cosplay done, so I didn't have time to figure out how to clasp and unclasp it that way, because with this design, it can be put on over the shoulder, just put my hands up, and it can be slipped on over everything. So without that, I didn't want to figure out how to like buckle and unbuckle it with the 1 week I had before RTX. Don't procrastinate. Just a little tip for y'all out there. I have a very big problem with that, and it shows in a few areas. Like, this thing, good in concept, if you can see, didn't turn out perfect, you know, it just kind of, it doesn't look like the kind of battle-worn look here that I was going for. It looks more like I took an X-Acto knife to foam, you know, I kind of rush out a little bit, so that shines through in my work, which, you know, it happens. I like the cosplay overall. I think I did a pretty good job with it, so I'm not going to beat myself up over it too much. If you didn't see the last video, then you don't know how I made these little gouges here. So I'll just briefly go over it. If you want to see maybe a little bit more done, then you can go back and watch the video on the elbow pads, gloves, and gauntlet. But basically what I did is I had got two 45-degree angles with the X-Acto knife and just cut one side then the other, and again, you want to make sure that they connect so that when you take out the excess foam, it's not leaving a ripped interior in there. You want a really clean line. And let's see, oh yeah, where the scratches actually went, again, 2 years ago I actually just painted some scratches. I kind of faked it a little bit, so this one I really wanted to make it look more authentic. If you haven't seen already, I did label the inside of the shoulders, and that's because these, before, they weren't their own cohesive piece. They were separate entities, but yeah, so these straps, again, these are all real leather straps. You can see I kind of wrapped it around my arm, my bicep right there, marked off where it met, and then the seam, you know, goes on the inside just so people can't see it. If it were out here, you'd have a really ugly line just going across, and that's all super glued, so it's much more low profile than using hot glue. Hot glue can get a little clumpy, so super glue, you can get some really, really, really fine lines and not too much gunk in your cosplay. But the only downside is, it's super glue. You get it on your fingers, it's going to be crusty for the whole night or something. I haven't really figured out a good way to get it off, except just kind of picking away at it. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe like that stuff. Let's see. Yeah, again, I just made my own design out of, what's it called? Graph paper for the sides, which, yeah, you can see they're attached. I'm going to flip the shoulders over a little bit just to show you the interior of everything. Yeah, that's a pretty good angle. You can actually see I repaired that little line there because during RTX I was taking it on and off so much. I forgot that this stuff isn't indestructible. Just because you finish a cosplay doesn't mean it won't fall apart on you halfway through a con. This ripped off a good, I don't know, 3/4 of the way through the foam attachment. I had to go over to the 405th booth. Nope, not the 405th. Impact Props over at RTX. Love those guys. Just... Man, Google Impact Props. If you are watching this video and you're like, oh, that's really awesome. Holy shit, guys. Look at their armor. Their Halo and Destiny stuff, and even their weapons, their resin casts, unreal. I cannot say enough great things about them. And they make some really good videos on Facebook, just messing around. Ooh. Who am I? Sorry, messing around with their Spartan armor and, just really, really personable people. So, yeah, just a little suggested content for you afterwards. I actually made some lock armor, which had CO2 boosters in it. They don't, of course, they're only cosmetic. You can't actually boost halfway across the room with them, but they look sick. Oh my god, they look so cool. Sorry, I'm a little, those guys are cool. Anyway, yeah, so I just measured out a little bit inward from the side plate, just so when you're looking dead on the cosplay, you don't see, plate, back plate, and then like a huge chunk in the middle. I left a little room for it to be, just so the side plate would overshadow it and it wouldn't poke out too much. So I did that on all 4 sides where they connect. And again, technically, they're supposed to shoot up underneath here. But I had this nice little line here that I think, I thought, it won't be the end of the world if I just connect it there. And it's also connected in the back. But since this is curved, it's a flat surface going against a curved surface. It's not as clean of a line. You can kind of see towards the inside. You know what? I think that's also starting to rip a little bit. So, happens. Let's see. Yeah, so you can see that there's a gap up top and down below. But again, not the end of the world. Got a little bit of a shine with the silver acrylic paint. And, let's talk about the top leather straps. So... here I actually got my brother to help me out with these. I'll always ask people to help you. You may be making your own cosplay, but just, ask for help. I had a friend, I commissioned a small project with her. I can't sew for shit. I suck at sewing. And Jaune has this black hoodie with a orange liner in it. And I was so fortunate. On Amazon, I found a athletic cut, short sleeve, black hoodie with no front pouch. Basically the exact same thing he wears in the show, save for the inner lining. So I was fine. I went ahead and bought it. And then I was like, hey, I asked my friend Regina, I think I'll try to link her stuff in the description, because she does some really good cosplay. And I was like, you know, I can do armor, but I suck with sewing. Would you mind helping me out with this hood? It was done in like 2 days, and you know, I didn't even have to think about it. So anyway, this top part, yeah, I basically put this whole thing on without the straps or with only the straps attached here. And these actually go in at about a 15-degree angle, so they don't go straight back across. They kind of angle back a little bit. So I had him help me out with like, okay, pull this side a little bit more. It looks a little off, so I kind of eyeballed a lot of it. It's like, okay, pull this side now on the back. And then once we had it in the place we wanted, he put down a couple bit, so these are very lucky, you know, these just go straight on, so you don't really have to do much guesswork. You just line it up with this edge. That's where the leather strap goes. So we just put in a little bit of super glue here and on the back here, so I could later put on a little bit more of a stable super glue hold with some hot glue around it just to keep it in place. And, excuse me. Sorry about that. And let's see. Alright, this video's over 11 minutes now. I'll wrap up a few details here, and here, and we'll just get to the shoulders next week. And then the week after that, I'll go over the fabric stuff, and then maybe we'll have like a wrap up, hey, random tips video. So this border here, again, what I did, cut a thin strip of EVA foam. Let's see, that's about a half-inch, quarter of an inch wide. And then once you have that strip, it's still going to be pretty tall. And this is a very shallow edge. So once you have that tall but thin strip, you cut it in half. And you really need to be pretty exact with this, because you can see there a little bit, that edge, that's not all one piece. I did this a little curvy piece first and then went out with another one. Here's a better seam. You can see, even though you can see the seam, it isn't raised anymore. So when you go to cut that narrow piece in half, you want to make sure it's in half. It's not like, that's good enough, because when you connect them, one might be a lot bigger and the other might be a lot smaller, and then you'll just have another problem on your hand you could have avoided if you just cut straight down the middle. You can do that usually just with a ruler. Just, you know, don't eyeball it if you are a little hesitant with your abilities. And let's see, so yeah, I basically went from edge to edge. So, you know, I would do a strip going down this way, stop once I got to a corner, then, okay, this is where it's overlapping, just overlap a little bit, cut that angle, put it in, go to the next corner, new piece, next corner, new piece, next corner, new piece, and just repeat all the way around. That way, you're not still bending that one long piece around the whole thing, and you get much sharper angles by just, well, cutting the angles instead of just bending them around the base foam plate. That always gets a let's see. Yeah, I can show you on this. So see, okay, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You can see a definite angle there, but since I used one piece for this, it bends around that angle and you get a smoother line, but we actually don't want that. We want angles on this. There are times when you do need smooth lines, like right here, but when it stops right here, you want that angle. So I should go back and fix that, but I'm not going to, because season 4 is coming out and I'm hoping Jaune gets some new armor so I can work on some stuff. Maybe do some time-lapse videos, who knows. So I did the same thing on the back. Let's see, where did I start? Yeah, just had the little foam strip go a little bit past this, glued it all the way around with super glue, not hot glue, super glue, much cleaner. And once I got here, just cut it off again, and you have a starting point. Just go all the way down. Okay, you hit that, stop. Nope, sorry. Disregard that. You do this piece, then this piece. That way you have both angles And then you go in and cut these simpler bits there. And cut the angle wherever it connects. Let's see. Yeah, and then the inside, you can see it's lined with some black acrylic paint just to give it a more defined look. If you can see that, it's not just, it doesn't just go from white to gray. It has a little bit of black to give it some more dimension. And that should about do it. You know, same blood splatter technique as the rest of the armor. Bang it against your hand, not just flicking it at the armor. You want that clean stop so you get a lot of paint glopping off. Especially here. That bit, clearly that was the first little stop I had. It just splattered right on it, and it looks really, really nice for a blood splatter effect. It looks like the title screen for 300. That looks nice. I like that. Actually, ooh, here's something funny. So this line going down here, this red line, I did not plan on that. I actually had some fake blood going from this eyebrow down, and it actually just dripped on the armor. So it stopped right here, went along the curve of the little scratch there, and then just dripped down. So I'm not complaining. You know, it's a little more natural looking, so why not? Okay, so I'll go over the shoulders much more in depth next week. But thank you for sticking around for the torso part of this. And yeah, thank you for watching.